Okay, I'm Nur Andini as the first speaker. A. Action research. The concept of managing learner models of teaching levels has been discussed in earlier chapters. The pupil teachers can make use of this concept in planning and organizing effective teaching and realizing the objective of teaching. A teacher has to see several types of problems in his presentation and achieving the learner objectives. First, meaning of action research. Action research is a method for improving and modifying the working system of a classroom in school. The teachers and principal are able to study their problem of teaching scientifically. It is an objective-oriented method. The action research project does not contribute in the field of knowledge, but it improves and modifies the current practice. Hence, it is necessary to understand the concept of research to have correct idea of the term action research. Second, meaning of research. Research is a process to study the basic problems which contribute in the edifice of human knowledge. The research process establishes new truth, find out new facts, formulate new theory, and suggest new application. It is a purposeful activity that contributes to the edifice of knowledge. Random Mori has defined the term research. Third, meaning of educational research. The main focus of education is one of development of a child. The teaching process brings the desirable change among learners. The basic problems of teaching and education are studied in education research. W.M. Travers has defined the term educational research. Educational research is that activity which is directed toward the development of science of behavior in educational situation. F.L. Whitney has defined the term educational research comprehensively. Educational research aims to make contribute toward the scientific philosophical method. The method of critical reflective of experience which are organized and evaluate which results of hypotheses and theories each successively subject to deductive longer generalization constantly approaching towards the field investigate. Fourth, objectives of educational research. The educational research are concerned with three goals, and educational research activities are oriented to achieve these three objectives. First, theoretical objective is this may be referred to the development of theory. Second, factually objective. A second objective of educational research is to find out new facts of the accommodation of new facts. Third, practical objectives. When a theory is applied in an action, it is termed as a practical purpose. The third objective is to solve a practical problem, which is of immediate concern with an investigator. 5. Types of educational research. The first two objectives of educational research contribute new knowledge in the form of new theory and facts in a particular field studied. The third objective do not contribute in knowledge but suggest new application for theoretical problems. Thus, the educational research are classified broadly into two categories. First, fundamental of basic research. Second, action research of applied research. 6. Meaning and definition of action research. The concept of acting research is very old, but Stephen M. Curry has applied this concept first time in the field of education. He has defined the term action research, the process by which practitioners attempt to study their problems scientifically in order to guide, correct, and evaluate their decisions and actions. A number of people have called action research. Okay, thank you.
My name is Nindi Marfiani. The next explanation is about meaning and definition of action research. And then according to the McTair, action research is organized investigative activity and toward the study and constructive change of given and whether by individual or group concerned with change and improvement. On the basis of this definition, the following characteristics might be enumerated of action research. First, it is a process for studying practical problem of education. And two, it is a scientific producer for finding out a practical solution current problems. And three, the practitioner can only study his problems. And the four, the phase is to improve or modify the current practices. And five, the individual and group problem is studied by action research. And the six is that it does not contribute in the fountain of knowledge. It is a and the seven, it is a personal research. And then number seven, the origin of action research. The concept of action research is based upon the modern human organization theory. This organization theory is task and relationship centered. It assumes that works of the organization have the capacity to solve the problem and take decision. He brings certain values, interests, and attitude in the organization. Therefore, the opportunities should be given to the workers of the organization to study and solve the current problems of their practice so that they can improve and modify their practice. The effectiveness of an organization depends upon the abilities and skill of the workers. They have to encounter some problem and can realize the gravity of the problems. The practitioner can only study and solve the problem of the current practice. The workers will be efficient when they will have given freedom for improving and modifying their practice. The origin of action research is also considered from the field of psychology or social psychology. Kurt Lewin explained life space in terms of person and goal. There is a barrier in between person and goal. He has to overcome the barrier to achieve the goal. It depends upon the abilities of a person to achieve the goal. The person's actives are governed by the goal. The practitioner has to face this type of situation. The concept of action research is being used in education since 1926. Buckingham has mentioned this concept first time in his book Research for Teacher. But Stephen M. Curry has used this concept for solving this problem of education first time. And then the eighth point, there are steps of research. First, there are a selection of problems. The problem is selected and defined. The feasibility of the problem depends upon its delimitation, hence the problem is also delimited in this step. And then the second point is there are formulation of hypotheses. Some active solutions are given for the problem when the solutions are based on a certain rationale. They are termed as hypotheses. And then the third one is design of research, sampling, and methodology. Therefore, in this step, hypotheses are formulated techniques of research. The appropriate method and technique are selected for this purpose, and then the 4-point collection of data, administration of tool, and scoring. Uh, those research tools are administered on the sample subject, and the response are scored out. Thus, the obtained data is organized in tabular form, and the 5 analysis of data use of statistics. The appropriate statistical technique are used to analyze the data so that some decision might be taken some of hypotheses. The result is used to draw some conclusion. And then the 6 points is formulation of conclusion. And then for the 9 point is difference between fundamental research and action research. The objective of action research, there are a purpose and investigator and then problem. And then for objectives, fundamental research contribute of new knowledge in the form of new theory, facts, and truth. And the second, the problem is broad and relates to the broad field and education. And then the third point, there are hypothesis, and the 4 design, and 5 is sampling. And the point number 6, there are data collection, and the 7 analysis of data, and 8 is simple statistics. Next is conclusion, 10 evaluation, 11 finance, and 12 training. And next scope and example, and then the next importance, and then the point number 10, a paradigm of action research project. The step and sub-step are proposed and by NCERT for conducting action research project. First, topic of the project. Next, objectives of the projects. And then next, the system of the project work. And next, evaluation of the projects. And then number 5, estimate of expenditure for the project. And the 6, name of the instruction number of students enrolled by section. And then the last one is number of teacher in the different subject, and then the available facilities in the school. And then the 411 point is experimental project of action research. The first topic of the project, and then the point number 2, the investigator and experienced geography teacher, and then the third point, the background for the project work, and the 4 objective of project work. Point number 5, importance of the project for school, and then 6, field of the problem, and 7 is the specification of the problem, and point number X is analyze of the problem. The cause of the problem may be analyzed with the help of the following table, and then you can see the table on the paper. And the 9 point is formulation or action hypothesis, and point number 11 is evaluation, and the last one is comments of the investigator. And the point number 12, suggestion for action research project. In developing an action research project, the following suggestions should be. The last point is suggestion for action research project. In developing an action research project, the following suggestions should be kept in view. First, nature of the project should be decide whether is it a developmental project or experimental project. And 2, an investigator must be directly associated with the problem to be studied. 3, the form of problem should be real. 4, the project should be so planned that it should be not intervene the function of schoolwork. And 5. The project should be concerned directly with qualitative improvement and level of performance of the student. And 6. The project should be evaluated objectively by employing reliable and valid tools. And then the 7. The action hypothesis should be formulated by considering the cause of the problem, which are under the approach of the teacher or worker. 8. The design of action research projects should be economical from money, time, and energy point of view. 11. The problem should be selected objectively and studied scientifically. And 12. The cause of the problem should be isolated objectively on the basis of some evidence.
I'm Selvia Yulizah. I'm the third speaker. Today, I want to explanations about grounded theory. Grounded theory research is the process of collecting data, analyzing the data, and repeating the process, which is the format called constant comparative method. The data can be obtained from several sources such as interviewing participants or witness, reviewing historical videotapes or records and observations. Remember that the goal of all of this example is to develop what be an analysis of the data to produce a theory. The first, a study of investigated the grieving process of parents who have lost a child of death. And the second, a study designed to explore strategy used by inner city teachers who students perform at the state for achievements in language art. The third, a study that investigated why a particular magnet school with a diverse and poor populations has students who perform at or above grade level. And I think enough. The next material by my friends. Okay, see you.
My name is Erta Sari. Now I want to explain about documentary or content analysis. Let an on-road define this method as a detailed and systematic examination of particular body of the materials for the purpose of the identifying patterns, themes, or biases. Content analysis review forms of human communications, including books, newspaper, and films, as well as other forms in order to identify patterns, themes, or biases. The method is designed to identify specific characteristics from the content in the human communications. The collection of data is a two-step process. First, the researcher must analyze the material and put them in a frequency table as each characteristic or quality is mentioned. Second, the researcher must conduct a statistical analysis so that the results are reported in a quantitative format. The research report has 5 sections: the description of the material studied, the statistical analysis showing the frequency table, and drawing conclusions about the patterns, themes, or biases found in the human communication and data collections.